Okay, so this is another isekai then. I'll be alive for. Wow, that got dark. Oh, okay. So he's not just crappy. Hello, fellow anime geeks. Welcome to another first impression video in my fall 2020 coverage. I'm trying every anime series premiere I can to hopefully offer you guys a bit more information on this ongoing season. Per usual, I'll be organizing my thoughts by answering these 4 questions, and today I'm talking about Hyakuman no Inochi no Ue ni Ore wa Tatteiru, or I'm standing on a million lives. The mount tags are action, drama, fantasy, game, and shonen, and I like that the game tag is there because at first glance this just looks like a normal isekai, but our protagonist doesn't just get transported to a fantasy world with a simple mechanism and with a simple express purpose of saving the world. It's a bit more strange and complicated than that. The drama tag also makes sense. We check in with each of these characters to kind of get their different backstories, and it adds a bit more gravity to the situation. And this dramatic component, plus the idea of these seemingly randomly selected high school kids being forced to play a deadly game while they're kind of tied or tethered to each other in a certain way, reminds me of Kiznaiver. Now, the tone in this is quite a bit lighter, but I don't trust our characters. Something about this tells me that this is gonna get darker, or I might just be watching a bit too much Munou Nanana. So for now, I'm just gonna go with a more simple genre of action fantasy. Yes, our protagonist does get transported to another world, but it's not clear to me whether that world actually exists or whether it's not just some simulation. Everything in that world works like an RPG, and I mean even more so than any fantasy isekai out there, or at least that I have seen. There's also this weird game master avatar or being. He does claim to be from the future and to know people that they know. He also has this mysterious power to see them, see what they're up to, and communicate with them even when they're outside of the game. Our protagonist is neither the first nor the only one to get taken, but these characters know surprisingly little about how or why this is happening. All they know is the mechanics of the game. They are each assigned a class, they can return home after they complete a quest, and if their whole party dies in this other world, they die for real. I think that this premise is pretty original. I know that we've already seen a more gruesome portrayal of a deadly game in Darwin's game, and I've already mentioned how this kind of forced collaboration reminds me of Kiznaiver, but the idea of a fantasy RPG setting combined with the potential for this sci-fi futuristic timeline seems pretty interesting to me. I also like the fact that these characters are not quite the typical shonen manga characters. Sure, Best Girl is good at sports and she's a professional model, but she's also pretty manipulative. And then there's Cute Girl, and she's the typical I want to protect everyone, I'm gonna do my best kind of character, but she's also like just useless. That amounts to nothing because she doesn't even try to grind so that she can level up so that she can be able to protect these people. Then there's Otaku Girl, and she's just far from being strong-willed and she's completely unappreciative. Then there's our protagonist, who I think has some morality in there, but really he's just a whiny, self-serving jerk who hates the world. Plus, there's the fact that they all have to be a little bit unhinged to be able to accept the fact that they might all just die. So, is it worthwhile? I think yes. I think that this is unique and interesting enough. And frankly, I'm a bit surprised about its low score on Mal because I think that this plot is promising. For me, it's all going to come down to the resolution and whether or not the answers to these questions are going to be satisfying. Why are these guys chosen? How does the future technology work? And is the reason for them to go through this experience significant to the future plotline in a satisfying way? Plus, any show that messes with time really has to go out of their way to convince me of the physics involved. But for now, I don't really see any glaring storytelling deficiencies, and I was certainly happy enough to binge the first 4 episodes, 1/3 of this series. So I think that you might like this if you're normally into fantasy and sci-fi and or RPG game mechanics. And on that note, I'll catch you in the next video. Oh, revived. Oh, great, great, great. Hero revival rules. Okay. When a hero dies, they will revive. Oh, crud. Oh, he can't pick up non-class weapons. But you're not gonna do that, right? You're gonna turn out to be a good guy, right? Right?